Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh yeah.
No, I'm having.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh yeah.
And we're live, guys. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Would you like to introduce yourself and your band?
I'm Dalton, and this is Scott, and we're Prowess.
I know you guys probably get this a lot. How did you get your name?
Prowess?
Yes, the band's name.
Yeah, that's it.
I think somebody just pitched it one day at practice, and all of us had the right kind of buzz, so it felt like it was something we could work with, and it really is pretty much that simple.
Yeah, and it was one word, and we were able to make a really good logo for it, and we wanted something simple. I mean, it's not that simple, but compared to the ideas we had, it's rather simple. So it was the easiest thing that we could come up with that we felt like people would be able to remember, and they could take it home with them or whatnot. They wouldn't forget it.
Yeah.
So, and it's worked for us really, really well. It really has.
So for people that don't know your band, how would you describe your band?
It'd be like if AC/DC and Aerosmith fucked, and then they had like a little bit of I don't know what you say, maybe like a little bit of like funk sizzled in on top just for good measure. That would be
like if AC/DC and Aerosmith had sex to a Parliament album, and they had a baby that was slightly inbred.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with how he said that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
All right, I'm going to start with one of the hard questions here. What do you want to leave as your legacy?
Ooh, well, I would say, as far as me personally, definitely a really outstanding block of music that is able to, stand the test of time. Like you listen to like the Stones and like, the Beatles and all those type of bands, and like people don't even know their best stuff. And most of their best stuff was back in the 60s and 70s, like 50, 60 years ago now. People are still listening to it and it's still getting turned on classic rock radio. And, maybe just to get a little piece of that pie, I think would be definitely something that I would want to, have at the end of the day.
I think for me, a stack of good recordings for sure that I can be proud of. But like everybody in this band loves rock and roll, and we study rock and roll. And we study not only the bands we like, but the bands that influence them and the genres of music that influence them. And so I think the best legacy for our band would be that, we get to a point where our songs are a genuine, as close as we can get, tribute to that era of music, I guess. We're not trying to be brand new. We're not trying to invent the key of H or anything. We're just trying to play the same good rock and roll we grew up on and bring the same feeling to new people that we had, the first time we heard it growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I second that.
All right, here's a fun question here. Last Supper scenario. Who's your 12 people? One female.
Huh. That's a good one.
Run it back for me.
He said, Last Supper scenario, who would your 12 people be? And one of them has to be a female. Now, does this have to be alive or dead, or does it matter?
It could be live, it could be dead, it could be a cartoon. It doesn't really matter.
Ronnie Van Zant's got to be there.
Right.
For sure.
Right. So definitely Bon Scott and Ronnie Van Zant for sure.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury.
Lemmy.
Yeah, Lemmy.
Malcolm Young,
yeah. And you got to throw Angus in there too, though, if you're going to you got to do the both of them. So what's that, like 5 or 6?
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely have Steven Tyler and Mick Jagger at mine for sure.
Wendy O.
Oh yeah.
Wendy O is definitely one of the ladies we would want there. Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Where are we at? Somewhere. It's a
7,
deep
8.
party already.
7, 8.
Yeah.
I'd have Travis Tritt at mine because I'm a real big country dude, so I definitely have him because he's an incredible songwriter, man. Some of his stuff is mind-boggling. You really listen to it.
Chuck Berry.
Yeah, Chuck Berry. That's probably like 10 to 2 more, and one of them's got to be female.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Oh yeah.
Even though she probably been preaching to us that we was living the wrong life.
That's
okay.
And one more.
Got to go with Robert Johnson.
Yeah, that'd be
the OG.
Yeah, and to find out his story.
Just to see if you really sold his soul and to see how much you got for it. Because I tried to sell mine when I was younger, but it wasn't worth shit.
Yeah. So what was your first concert ever?
Mine, I went and saw Santana. That was my first concert, and I think I was like 13 or 14, maybe. Yeah, I saw him in Virginia Beach. Yeah, that was my first show.
And my first official concert, I saw Aerosmith and Metallica when I was in grade school when they had they toured together. Aerosmith and Metallica did a co-headline tour, and that was a pretty cool one. I saw it from pretty close too.
What year was that?
I don't fucking know. A long time ago. I was young. I'm older than him.
Oh.
It was in the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that.
So like 9 Live Aerosmith.
Yeah, something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're both really big on Aerosmith. Aerosmith's definitely one of my favorite bands. Ain't no two ways about it.
And when I was a kid, I liked Metallica a lot more. I'm not much into metal these days, but when I was a kid, Metallica was much more my speed when I had a lot more angst and festivity in my blood,
Like all of us in high school, yeah.
So what was the first song? What was the first song you learned how to play?
Smoke on the Water, man.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely the first one.
Smoke on the Water. Yeah. Thought we was killing it too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I learned that, and I didn't learn nothing else for like a whole year because I just thought that was all I needed to know.
More like 12 years for him.
I think it's funny that like most will say Smoke on the Water or they'll say Metallica. Is it because it's most of it is only 3 chords?
Well, yeah, but a lot of it just breaks down to when you're starting to learn how to play guitar, you gotta figure out how to move your hands, and like really just working with like strumming one string and doing it that way is the easiest way to try to learn it, especially when you're starting out, because before you get any control in your hands, it's just you're just trying to make something that sounds remotely like music, and that riff is just so iconic and stuff. It's like that one or like Iron Man. The Iron Man riff is usually most people's first ones, and that was definitely my first 2 without a doubt.
And I think one that's a little after us that comes these days is Seven Nation Army. I think a lot of young guitar players these days, I think Seven Nation Army is one of the songs that's kind of like our Iron Man,
Yeah, definitely.
If you could choose one person to learn how to play from, who would it be?
You go first.
Say it again.
He said if you could pick one person to learn how to play from, who would it be?
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a hard one there.
It's hard to go against. It's hard for me to vote against Chuck Berry. Even though, there's not really a whole lot of. There's not a whole lot hidden in his method. Still, the way he does it is just so particular. Right. I would like to sit and learn from him. Although judging him by that by the video clips of him coaching Keith Richards, he's a hard man. He's a hard man to learn from.
I'd like to sit down with like Jimmy Page or one of them, because he's definitely like, when I think of like all my favorite rock guitar players, he was definitely where it started as far as like the rock and roll part is concerned, not the blues aspect, but as far as like rock and roll, like, the first Led Zeppelin album is literally like the Bible of guitar playing, and especially for when it came out, Well, to me at least, it's
for people that don't know a whole lot about the heavy 70s rock, Led Zeppelin is pinnacle, but there was a lot of bands around that time that were doing that same thing. I would argue some of them were doing it better. They just didn't have the hits or the marketability or the front man.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. Oh, yeah.
If you had any, do you have any advice for somebody who's coming up now?
Don't quit. Takes time. A lot of the bands that you know that finally break through, they break through after years and years and years of doing it and getting in front of new people, which is mostly why the people in the industry like them young, because they know it's going to take years and years and years to get through. Even today, you know, with how fast things can turn with the internet, it really is more a matter of staying in the game and showing people that you know, that you ain't gonna quit, you ain't gonna fold. Don't quit. That's the number one rule. Fire people if you got to, but don't quit.
And I would say, don't be afraid to suck, because, you know, when you're coming up and you're trying to, you know, learn, we all have, you know, cringy stuff that we did when we were younger, trying to, you know, just trying to do what we thought we were supposed to be doing, you know, and we look back on a lot of that and cringe. And any musician, even if you looked at like Jagger or John Lennon or any of them, I'm sure they had some cringy skeletons in their closet from their early days. So, you know, you can't be afraid to suck, and you can't overthink it most times, because when you do, that's when you run into trouble, without a doubt.
If you weren't playing music, what would you be doing with your life?
I'd probably be dead. Music saved me, without a doubt. I know a lot of people say that, but there's a lot of truth to it, you know.
Tough to say, but something. I just don't know what. I'm not sure it would be legal, but it would be something.
A drug dealer or something like that.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a bank robber or something. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it would be legal. I don't know. What's it?
So, what is the best advice you were ever given that sticks with you today?
Say that again.
He said the best advice you were ever given that sticks with you.
Wear tighter pants. Wear tighter pants. Seriously, that changed things for me. I never realized that I was up on stage wearing dungarees and, you know, in my early bands, and didn't realize that, you know, what the impact of a good pair of pants would do for me. There's strength that, you know, like young women that don't wear bras, there's a strength in that. There's a power in that. You don't realize it till you ain't afraid to put on a tight pair of pants and show off a little sausage. It's like, I don't know, it's a liberating feeling, you know. Doesn't really matter what your lower half is built like, man. Just the bravery to pull it off is really all you need.
Okay, I'll second that. Yeah, definitely changed the game for me when I got taught that lesson, without a doubt. Yeah.
It's helped all of us in rock and roll. Tight pants are the secret to real rock and roll. That's how them dudes sing so high.
Yep, it's true.
Look at them fucking pants Bon Scott was wearing. Shit.
Yeah, and the pants Robert Plant was wearing. I mean,
fucking A. I mean, no wonder dude was singing high. This shit was getting squeezed. Look like he was fucking smuggling watermelons through the fucking.
Oh wow. This is a two-part question here.
All right.
You can pick your own bill. Dead, alive, and the other part is local.
Okay, so you said you pick your own musical bill.
Yes.
And one of them can be like anybody, but the rest of it has to be local bands?
Well, stage one is, what do you call it? Anybody. The second stage is all local.
You catch that? So one stage could be anybody, and then the second stage would be local. You put on like a music festival.
How many bands?
I'll give you 5 apiece.
Okay.
Yeah, I would honestly. I don't listen to very much modern music at all, man. I do like a bunch of upcoming bands, but most people have never heard of them. But on the local side, shoot, yeah, that's where I would fill it up. That's where we could, because we stay plugged in. We drive around. We play several hundred shows a year, so we play with all kinds of bands. There's a whole crop of cool bands. I would say, a music festival, one popular band or one big band. Nothing here gets good here in America. I would say maybe Royal Republic from Sweden.
Yeah.
Royal Republic is a band we're digging on pretty good right now.
For a while now, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And as far as for local bands, shoot, there's a whole bunch of them. There's a band called South of Eden in Columbus. There's a band called Gunpowder Gray in Atlanta. A friend of ours in Nashville, Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts, a band from Greensboro called Shaky DeVille, which our other guitar player Curly, he is the founder of that band. That's one of our favorites right now. Some guys from Greenville, South Carolina, called Silver Tongue Devils, are pretty rocking. A whole crop of cool local bands that we've seen lately.
Oh yeah, I think mine would be pretty much practically about the same as his, with Royal Republic being the big one, and then most of his bands, Gunpowder Gray and Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts, and of course Shaky DeVille would be some of the more local ones that I would have, without a doubt.
Where are you located at?
I'm located out in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Let me think if I know of any bands up in New Jersey. I know a couple of bands across the line in New York. Wild Street.
Right, we played with them not long
Let
ago.
me think. What's the name of the cats we played with in Statesville from New York City? It'll come to us.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. I couldn't say.
A lot of metal in New Jersey, though. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a killer.
It's metal. It's some alternative, and a lot of indie.
Oh yeah, a lot of indie. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff up that way for sure. Yeah.
So by you, what's your favorite venue to play?
Ooh, that's hard. Favorite venue.
Favorite venue?
Yeah.
I would say the Fillmore in Charlotte is probably my favorite one as far as a local one is concerned. But then I would say like if we were traveling, like the Machine Shop in Michigan.
Yeah, the Machine Shop in Flint is pretty high up on the list.
Oh sure. Yeah. We played there almost about a year ago. Well, a good little while ago, and we got some real love there. Yeah. So that was definitely a good one.
We played at the Crowbar in Tampa, and I think that's another really cool room.
Yeah, Crowbar was good. Yeah.
I don't know anything near New Jersey. Closest I could think of to there is Harrisburg Midtown Arts Center, HMAC. That's a short list for me, I think.
Have you ever played the Blind Tiger?
Oh yeah. That's like one of like me and Curly, the area we live in. That's like one of the main venues we have when we were like coming up before we were even in Prowess, because we used to be in a band called Zestra back in the day, and that was one of the big places we played that we like broke through at and got a really good response at. So
that's where I saw you two at.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we even Prowess played there a couple times too, of course.
You have what do you call it? The Blind Tiger, the Pit, and I'm trying to think of those are the two I know off the top of my head. They're by you.
Yeah, those are definitely close ones. We would cut our teeth out a couple times for sure. And then of course like the state fair and stuff like that too. But you can't really put a finger down on that. That could be anywhere. Good time.
So what's your favorite song to play live and your least?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Like I know they're all your babies and everything, but
Well, My favorite one is definitely Let It Ride, just because everybody knows it and they love it and they go nuts anytime we do it. And my least favorite is probably Looking for a Bullet, only because we usually finish with that one, and it's so high for me to sing usually by the end. I'm usually pretty frazzled by the end of the show. So when I got to do that one and do, all that high stuff, it isn't my favorite. I mean, I love all the songs, but that would be my least, without a doubt. What do you think?
My favorite one to play is probably Every Right.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
My least favorite to play is only because I have to think about it so much. Would be Tombstone Blue, because man, there's a lot of math in that one. It sounds like a simple song, but whew, boy, it keeps the neurons firing the whole time.
Yeah, you got to think about it. It ain't as simple as it seems like it is. Yeah.
So with Let It Ride, where was that filmed? The music video.
That was done up in Michigan, near what is it, Ann Arbor, kind of. And we've gone up there a bunch of times. Like I said, that's where the machine shop's at.
We put that out after we put out our debut record, just to help cover time after the COVID thing, and we just put it out as a single and put it out as a we did a video, like an in-house video. We it's a little bit campy, but we did it kind of like, we wanted to have fun with it, so like we cast it with ourselves and our friends and did it in a place we're familiar with. But it's that song actually, an iteration of it, at least, we did early on when Prowess first started, and it caught steam. It really came into its own whenever we, finalized the lineup, that we have now.
Yeah, and it really became a crowd favorite. That's one of the biggest things, because people just love that song. I had a guy approach me in a bar the other week talking about it, and it blew my mind. It really did, because you never really realize how like close to home stuff like that gets, until you see it for yourself,
And we ain't a household name by any means. We're just a young band trying to break through. But it's really cool to drive 10, 12 hours away from home and have people yelling out, "Let it ride, let it ride," and knowing the damn lyrics and the chorus and everything to it. It's that's about as close as you get to the top of the mountain right there.
Yeah. Yeah, they filmed the Machine Show concert, and we finished with it. And you can hear in the video, those motherfuckers went crazy.
That place is packed, and they know about every word, chorus, and everything. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a real humbling type thing. It really is.
So how did you come up with the concept of that song?
I don't know. I mean, it was one of those things that was getting thrown around, but it was really kind of between me and him when it came to it. He had the idea for like the chorus parts and stuff, and I think I did most of verse bits. So he had the idea for the chorus, and it's such a good chorus because anybody that's a human being can relate to that. And any great song is one that any human being can relate to, no matter what. And that's one that, it doesn't matter if you're 7 or 70, you can relate to it in some type of way.
Yeah, it's so old fashioned. It's like, it was almost, we didn't put it on the record, talking about Let It Ride, right? We didn't put it on the record because it felt a little bit too old fashioned, and we showed it to the producer and he really wasn't that into it. So we didn't put it on the record, but we couldn't deny, even after the record came out, people still wanted to hear it. So we did our own version of it. But, just to be such a simple, pretty much old school blues song, it really resonated with people. And the chorus just kind of came to me out of thin air, and the progression a little bit. And then we kind of built it out together as a band, and Dalton had free reign on the verses to kind of tell the story in between, and we just kind of worked it in between us into something that just, I don't know. All the talking we're doing about it, if you never heard the song, and you do hear it, you might not understand what all the hype's about, but I'm telling you, if you come to a Prowess show and you see how people react, you'll get it. You'll understand, because it's something special.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of them things that you gotta really see it to understand it. Really, you know, if somebody could just hear it and not really get it, but if they came and saw us play it, saw people react to it, they would understand without a doubt.
It was a very good video, by the way.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that, man. Yeah, we
It was a very good video.
thank you. We didn't expect it to have the to have the reach and the pull that it did. It won a couple of Indie Film Fest awards, which was kind of humbling, because we put it together and we're looking at it like, we're doing it on a shoestring budget, and it's really just kind of like we wanted it to be a little bit like an old episode of Full House or something, like
Yeah.
with the credits at the end and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we wanted it to be kind of funny, and
You had to have that camp to it. Yeah.
yeah, and we had some other people that helped us work on the video after the fact and post that were like they are in the industry and they do it like for bigger bands and shit, and they were just like kind of appalled at how we did it. Like it was so they were like, oh, what'd you get me into, man? This is I don't know, it's not what they were looking for, but I knew that it's what was going to work for the people that would like the song, and after the fact, man, we're proud of it. It's,
yes, it definitely doesn't keep us up at night.
we're going to go, we're working on a new album, and we've got some big names attached to it, and we're happy with that. And so we're going to have to go a little bit higher budget on the next batch of videos that we do, but we'll always remember that one, dude. It's always going to stay on the hearts. First of all, it was fun as hell.
Yeah, it was a great time.
And when I say shoestring budget, I mean, there's a scene that got cut where Dalton was dancing in the moonlight on top of an RV, and we didn't have a smoke machine. And so we literally had our drummer, our bass player, and a couple of stagehands behind the RV chain smoking cigarettes to make power for this scene. And I mean, dude, power smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, there's one little part of it.
I think the cigarette budget for the video was pretty much identical to the actual film part of the budget.
That's freaking great.
Definitely was, yeah.
I mean, I wish I could see that footage. That's freaking great.
Yeah, that was like the end of a long day there, and it probably took us 4 or 5 days to do that whole thing, and we just went up there and did it. We had a handful of people up there that we were close with that that lended their talents to it here and there, and then we had the girl Maddie, and she was great. She's awesome, and everybody just had a really good time, and it was a lot of fun.
The kid that filmed the video was 17 at the time. He was still in high school, and had not really. He was doing like videos for businesses and like, videos for weddings and stuff, and had not really worked with a band, especially not a band like us who probably weren't sober for 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, he was appalled. There were multiple times.
But I'm telling you, he was a champ, dude. He stuck right in there with us. He was a trooper. A lot of those really cool shots, they're his idea. He he had the drone footage for Dalton riding the bike and stuff, and just all the cool shots of the little scenes. It's just a kid with the cameraman sitting there just watching us do our thing,
That's
and he
cool.
comes around. He comes around every time.
Oh yeah, he's at every show every time we come in town, man.
Yeah, he loves
still living clean, still keeping it holy and pure when we're doing quite the opposite sometimes. But man, he's a good friend. He's friend for life, family.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you had to send somebody a song to describe you as a person, what song would it be? It could be your own. It could be somebody else's.
Did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say All I Can Do Is Write It in a Song by Leonard Skinner. That would be mine, because that's definitely one of my favorite songs and one of the ones I can relate to the most, without a doubt. Yeah, that would be mine if I had to pick one.
And the one for me would probably be Boogie Wonderland.
Boogie Wonderland. No, yours would be Rock Steady. Yours would be The Whispers.
It would be Rock Steady.
Or like Parliament. Or
not the Bad Company version of rock steady, but the whispers, you know, and we begin to rock, steady, steady rocking all night long.
That's
We
freaking
get-
great.
You tore my heart.
We get down
All
with
that
that
I
karaoke.
anticipated.
It's one of our favorite ones.
That's freaking
without a
great.
doubt. If
If you don't know that song, take your ass to YouTube and watch it.
right,
For all of you listeners and viewers out there.
and if you
I-
had to pick one, what would your song be? If you had to pick one, what would yours be?
See, it's not so. Now, what you gonna do when the rabbit's got the gun, huh?
Well, I have two of them.
Easy answer on the fly, huh?
No, I have two answers for that, but I will gladly say Pop Evil, Torn to Pieces.
Huh? That's
And for my second choice would be Nobody Knows My Sorrow.
yeah, those are two badass choices without a doubt.
Yeah, you had some time to think about those answers.
Yeah.
I want to take mine
Yeah, you
back now
thought
and do
about
something
that.
more serious.
No, I honestly, those are the only two that at this moment relate too much.
So when you meet somebody, that's like one of the first couple songs you send them. You know, when you meet somebody like a music type person, yeah, that's
to
definitely
introduce your mood and your vibe and your, you know, who you are as a person. Yeah, you know, songs really can do that.
I don't
Yeah.
sugarcoat shit. So it would depend on the situation of what song I'm going to send you. But if you just listen to those two songs, you'll understand
right.
without me saying one word. Like if you're into music like I am, you would be like, okay, I understand him as a person.
Right. Yeah. I can get that.
I feel like when you watch a band, and they're doing it right and they're doing something authentic, you can kind of learn about the people that are making the music. You know, you can kind of get a sense of what kind of people they are when you watch it. I think, at least for me at this point, because you know, like where the tonal choices is, whether, you know, what the vibe is, if it's smooth, if it's aggressive, if it's janky, if it's whatever it might be. It tells you a lot about the folks that are writing the music. And I think that's one of the cool things as you watch music and you go to more live shows and see bands and get to know bands. Their personality really does start to come out in the notes that they play and you know, the way they put their music together.
And you see it a lot more, especially when you're a musician, because you can really dissect music and you can like take all the parts apart. You know, I think it's different when you start trying to make music and start trying to play music and stuff. You begin to see so many things differently. You know, it's like, you know, you can remember the first time you heard certain songs and stuff, but like once you start to actually dissect music and stuff, and you see a bunch of bands and you can always kind of take them apart, you know, especially as a musician. That was something I picked up on a lot later. You know, but anybody who's really big into music, you know, when they go see live bands, they can definitely do it, you know, too, as far as trying to break down a band from a musical standpoint.
Yeah, my favorite thing is the live show. I like to see when it goes wrong a little bit, like if somebody's pedal stops working, or if they break a string, or if they're having some technical difficulties. Like I like to see them recover from that stuff and like watch the sausage gets made and see, you know, you can kind of tell who is the who are the pros, who don't let it get to them, who don't let it get under the skin, and who you know, who panics. You know, a lot of times people will panic, and even sound engineers and stage hands and techs will panic in those moments. And it's always just the coolest, the ones that everybody remember are those people that played it off the coolest. Like I can think right now about an old video of Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know, broke a string on his guitar and somebody came and changed it right around him and he didn't budge, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like it was just so cool. The tech wasn't sweating. Nobody was in a hurry. It just like it was part of the show.
Right, and he had a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell when musicians are having fun and when they're, you know, when they're real serious about it. You can tell when you watch them on stage, especially when something like that happens. You
Well,
know?
I don't think I think everybody takes it seriously, but I think some people don't know how to turn that off sometimes,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
that,
and
that
just
says it
like,
better.
just kind of,
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know. I just like it to. I just take it like it comes. I think the whole band's like that, you know, because we have equipment malfunctions. We beat the hell out of our instruments, so you know we break strings and things, and batteries die in wireless microphones and
yeah.
things, and you know
Yep.
tubes blow and amp heads, and you know stuff just happens, and you know I think you know the better you get at playing that curve, you know the more real you look.
I've slipped and fell many times on stage, and
I just step
it
right
takes a
over
lot
them.
for me to laugh it
I
off.
just
And
step
nowadays
right
I
over
can.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flips and busts his ass. I just hop right over him. Take his space up front.
It was part of the act, you know.
Oh yeah, it's all part of it. It's all good fun too. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, this is not a musical question, but this is so I get to know you guys a little bit better here. What are your top 2 favorite animals?
Huh.
It's a 3-part question, so that's the first part.
I think mine would probably be like a dog, definitely for one, because I have a dog and I love the hell out of him. And my second favorite animal would probably be like eagle, because they're just so, America, you know. That's definitely without a doubt. And they're so majestic as animals, without a doubt.
Mine would be a falcon and a mountain lion. Falcon's fast, fierce, you know, and a mountain lion is just a rowdy son bitch.
Savage, yeah.
All right. What do you feel about oceans?
Well, I'm more of a lakes person, personally, because I'm not a big fan of the beach. But
Yeah, oceans are scary. I'm not an ocean person either. I don't like the beach. It's always hot. Sand gets up my ass. It's fucking people everywhere. It smells like dead fish. The only place that I've been that has, well, I've been 2 places that have really beautiful oceans in my limited experience. The Gulf Coast part of Florida where the
yeah.
beach is all white and the water is blue. It's not like the Atlantic Ocean. You know, the Atlantic Ocean a lot of times is muddy, choppy, stinky. You know,
Yeah.
sand's brown. It's got plants and shells and all kinds of shit littered all through it. But right there around Tallahassee, I would say. What am I thinking? Not what is it? Panama City? Yeah, something like that. That beach right there, like Destin, Florida, that area, that sand is white as hell.
Oh yeah.
It's just like it looks like something from a movie. The water is crystal clear, bright blue. And the beaches on the West Coast that we'd seen,
Yeah.
those are pretty nice beaches.
Yeah, we saw some.
So are they calming to you, or like water? Is it calming, or
It can be.
The ocean?
Definitely.
No, not to me. The ocean is tense as fuck to me, man. It's loud. There's waves. Well, I got tinnitus, so like when I'm at the beach and those waves are washing over the shore, it's literally like white noise and static the whole time. I mean, it is so loud that I can barely fathom what's going on. In the wind, you know, when you're at the beach, the wind just pelting you in the face is loud as hell. Now a lake or a river, I'm way more at home, man. Sitting next to a river and just, you know, watching the water go by and it's calm and there's that, you know, that brook trickle and the slight breeze through the mountains. I mean, to me, that's much more calming to me. A lake, the same thing. To me, a lake is very calming. You know, it's just the ocean's deep and scary, man, and loud.
Yeah,
what do you feel about darkness?
What's that?
What do you feel about darkness?
About what?
Darkness.
I don't mind that. I don't mind the dark.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. You know,
calms me. It's a calming thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. especially like when you're about to go.
Fun things happen in the dark, man. Shit.
Yeah, usually the most fun stuff does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, at this time, I'll let you guys flip it on me. You can ask me anything.
Right on, man. So how long you been doing this?
5 years.
Right on. Who has been your favorite interview to this point?
I love them all, like you guys love all your music, but one that stands out, Stillwell. That is Mr. Q and Fieldy from Korn's second band, and I think his name's Jeffrey, the from from POD.
My question to you would be, if you had to pick, what's your favorite either movie or TV show vehicle or car from any era, TV show or movie, if you had to pick one?
I'm gonna say Pee Wee Herman's bicycle.
Oh, that counts. That's a good one there.
That is a tasteful choice. Sir.
Yeah, it is.
That is a tasteful and respectful choice.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That bicycle was magical. What's one place you always wanted to visit?
I'm gonna say Sweden.
Say it again. I didn't hear it.
He said Sweden.
Sweden.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of hits, American and European hits, are written in Sweden. I mean, I'm pretty sure that most of the boy bands, including people from that, like Britney Spears songs, were written in Sweden.
All right. Well, ABBA was from Sweden. They were the hit factory.
Two of my favorite bands on the planet right now have connections to Sweden. One of them is from Sweden, and that's the band I mentioned earlier, Royal Republic.
Yeah, we both.
We like them. It's not a rock and roll band. It's more poppy, a little bit more tongue in cheek. It's kind of fun. It's upbeat music, but it's good party music. And then another band from here in the U.S. that I like called Vintage Trouble. One of the guitar player and the songwriter in that band is actually from Sweden. Sweden has a whole lot of musical talent, and I'm sure you could give us a whole list of the Swedish, like the kind of what are they called, the Scandinavian metal,
Yeah.
Well, they've got Crazy Lips, which is a rock band from there, which I really am a really big fan of. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not, but
I've got some friends there from a band called The Last Band. Kind of rock and roll, but also metal, probably more on the metal side. But yeah, I can dig it. I would like to go to Sweden for sure.
Yeah,
I just saw pictures from there. It's just gorgeous. I don't ski or anything, but
it is beautiful. That'd be something fun to do. Snowboarding there.
Realistically, you can catch a train, and it's like going on a cruise, but it's a train that stops in Germany, stops in Sweden, stops in, I think, China, Japan. I don't know where you pick it up, but that's a goal. That's a goal. Just I don't care if I have to get out, take my photos quick, have to jump back on.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because it's not like traveling here in the States.
No.
It's not like that at all over there.
Yeah, you're going from country to country, in about the same span as it would be like in going from here to Michigan, on a given trip in Europe, you're passing through 6 or 7 countries,
Right.
Yeah. I'm saying that's the main goal at some point.
I definitely want to get overseas at some point.
Yeah, we feel like our brand of music would do well over there. They usually have a really good appreciation for throwback hard rock. Bands like Airborne, for example, Airborne headlines some of the biggest festivals. They play late slots at Download and Bakken and all that stuff. And I mean, they got tractor trailers hauling their shit around Europe, and we got a little bit of that. We're not, they're kind of like a pure mold of the AC/DC style thing. We just have it as one of the feathers in our cap. We don't do it for every song, but it is kind of one of the things that drives us. We both love AC/DC, so the whole band does, Where is, I think, where are the Helicopters from? Are they from Sweden?
Oh, I ain't the guy that'd be asking that. I couldn't tell you.
I believe so. The Helicopters are, there was a lot of really cool bands around the late '90s, early 2000s that never got a foothold here, that were like pioneers for the same kind of rock and roll we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And they were doing it at a high fucking level. I mean, they even had, later on bands that were influenced by them, like The Darkness and Jet, had some real massive success in Europe and here in the US, just from the influence of those bands, like the Helicopters and Turbo Negro. And I mean, just I want to say that the Helicopters are from that area too.
That could be awesome.
Cool fucking band.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So last one, another question for the man here.
What would your favorite film franchise be if you had to pick one? I'm a big movie buff, so I like asking people about movies.
I don't watch movies or TV, so half the time I can't talk to them about that. So I'll just have to take your word for it.
I'm going to have to say Jay and Silent Bob.
Okay, that's good. So that's like
I can see that, man.
Shit, yeah.
See, you got a little bit of that Silent Bob vibe. Just a little. I mean, what's his name?
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, right? Yeah, minus you got that long hair and that backwards hat. But
yeah.
Have anybody ever told you that?
I've heard it a couple times, but I'm not too far from their comic book store in Red Bank.
Oh, really? That's awesome. I always thought it was cool how they had all the Star Wars references in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I always thought that was the greatest thing.
It's just my luck. Every time I go down there, they're closed. every time I go in that area, I always catch it when they're closed or.
Yeah,
eventually I'll make it in.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
We actually just played it. I think it was more like a sci-fi convention, but our last show was at a sci-fi convention at the Hilton in Charlotte, called Con Carolinas, because he's a huge sci-fi, basically mainly Star Wars buff.
All that stuff, yeah.
I'm into Marvel comics a lot, the actual comics, not so much the movies. Everybody in our band has a little bit of, something they nerd out about. It was a cool experience for us.
Yeah, I mean, out of my people, I guess I'm the music nerd. Like, I literally go to about 36 concerts a year, maybe more, depends on who it is and
Yeah,
What was your favorite concert to go to?
Oh, that's hard.
Favorite what?
Favorite concert to go to. Mine's a tie because I just recently went and saw Kiss. So it'd be between Kiss and seeing GNR in the last couple years since they reunited with Slash. Because I'm a big GNR fan too, without a doubt. Those are probably my top two favorite bands, along with Aerosmith.
Okay, was GNR? Did he sound the same?
In my opinion, yeah, I saw him twice. I saw him in Nashville, and then I saw him in Charlotte, and he sounded great both times. You know, people have been giving him a lot of flack here lately, but you know, compared to like you look at like Vince Neil and John Bon Jovi and stuff, the dude he did great. I mean, he isn't like on Steven Tyler's level of vocal durability, but he did really really good. You know, I was blown away with him both times. You know, and he was a big influence on me as a singer, without a doubt. Him and Steven Tyler were my two big influences when I was younger. So still hadn't got to see Aerosmith yet, though. But that's on my list.
What I've heard, they're coming back. They had to cancel a few of the tours. He's feeling better, and he will be back.
Are you talking about GNR?
No, Aerosmith.
Yeah, because Steven Tyler's in rehab right now, isn't he?
He's out.
Uh,
He just got out 3 days ago. Reports
you
everything.
got to feel for the guy though, because if you've ever seen the dude's feet, you could imagine how much that shit sucks. I'm just saying, like, I couldn't imagine dealing with that. But
he's a real deal though, man. In his fucking 70s and having to take a stint in rehab to get himself straight. I mean, he ain't bullshitting about the songs he sings, man. He lives them.
Oh yeah, he does without a doubt.
But did you guys know that I Don't Want to Miss a Thing wasn't meant for him?
Yeah, he didn't write that. Yeah,
it wasn't meant for Aerosmith at all.
Yeah,
who was it meant for?
Whitney Houston or something like that?
Not Whitney Houston. The woman that sang the song from Titanic. I can't think of her name right now.
I know who you're talking about, but
names escape me sometimes. It's bad, but
it's driving me crazy now. Is it Celine Dion?
Yeah, Celine Dion.
Yeah,
that song was actually meant for her.
Huh? That's mind blowing, huh?
Well, they did it justice. It ain't one of my favorites from them, but it is a damn fine song.
Yeah.
Overall.
Oh yeah.
We like big songs, man. It doesn't matter what genre. It doesn't. I mean, like, a lot of people in the music industry, I think, are resentful of simple songs that catch on, but we're not. We like them. I mean, I've always liked them, dude. I like Tom Petty. I like Leonard Skinner. I like AC/DC. I like a lot of 90s country. I mean, if you don't think, if you whatever, whoever wants to slag on country can slag on it all you want. If you don't understand and acknowledge that Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and Dwight Yoakam had a whole bunch of people in that time frame had a mountain of hits that were called. I mean, I remember being young, really young, and everybody just a little bit older than me was getting mullets because of Billy Ray Cyrus's "Achy Breaky." I mean, it had little kids getting mullets. That's knock it if you want. It's not a great song. It's not a fucking world class song, but dude, it had the kind of reach and the kind of impact that most bands and musicians wish that they ever had.
Yeah.
So how can you knock that?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's always going to be one song that you didn't think was fire, and then you listen to it again, and it changes your mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I mean
I listen to everything. So yeah, I wasn't into country at first, but then Kane Brown, Jason Aldean, Reba, I could go on and on, but yeah, once somebody played me something, I'm like, wow, this isn't as what I thought.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more to appreciate. There's a lot of stuff out there that's the good thing about Spotify and the internet. There's so many cool songs that you forgot about over the years that somebody can show you and remind you of, or that you can discover that might be out of the genre, might not be something you normally listen to, but are really enjoyable, really, really powerful, potent songs. And I mean, who doesn't like them? Who doesn't like a good classic song? What's that one you've been listening to lately? From the 70s, the chick, I
Maxine Nightingale.
Yeah, what's the song?
It's Right Back Where We Started
From. Right back where we started from. I mean, when we're listening to that song, we realize it's almost built like a Gene Simmons bass line. It almost resembles a Kiss song.
Yeah, it almost resembles Shout It Out Loud almost in a way.
Gotta get it right back where we started from.
Yeah, it's a real Gene Simmons bass line. He's such an underrated bass player. Kiss is like one of my favorite bands, without a doubt, so like I have a lot of respect for those dudes.
They're definitely not one of my favorite bands, but I would say that they got some grooving ass rhythm section, man. Some cool guitar parts too, based on where you go. But some of the rhythm sections that they put together are just, you can't deny them, man. Like Strutter, shit.
Yeah,
that song rolls like thunder, dude. It's a killer song.
Yeah, and even like, see, he just doesn't like the '80s Kiss stuff. He can't stand that stuff.
I'm not a huge fan, but their marketing is amazing.
Yeah, you got to respect the hustle.
They were the American Beatles.
You got to respect the hustle. So it gets a little bit, like the Kiss casket is, and Kiss condoms. It's like, it's a little indulgent, but I can't knock the hustle.
I can't. No, like, they could literally put their name on a straw and it will sell.
Yeah. They're iconic, man. They really are. And especially to be holding out as many years as they have, And Ace Frehley's like one of my favorite guitar playing influences. And he is such a big influence on so many people, because his guitar playing was just so simple and it was real sloppy. And, there wasn't that much to it. But I mean, some of those grooves that he had and some of those solos are just beyond iconic.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I like it a little scratchy. I like it not perfect, man. That's really where I get lost a lot on modern bands, because it's all about perfect execution and the perfect executing the perfect bend and the perfect note. Like, if I want a perfect note, I'll play a fucking piano. Guitar is meant to have some shittiness to it,
Oh yeah, dirty guitar is always the best.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For me, anyway, that's a matter of personal preference, of course. But we have an accord on that.
Right. And everybody in Prowess plays guitar. Even Brandon.
The whole band plays guitar, and the whole band plays rock and roll guitar. And so that helps us whenever we're writing songs. To navigate the parts, the turns, and stuff like that. We might not know a whole lot about the technical side of building music, but we do know what feels good, and we can communicate with each other so we can get everybody making the same turn at the same time. And I think that's a big part of the battle in writing songs,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you learn music theory at all?
I did, but I learned it just from being in band in high school, just out of necessity type thing. But I know you didn't ever.
Nah, I learned it after the fact. I know a good bit about music theory now, but it was just well after the fact, after I could play guitar, just trying to kind of figure out the X's and Y's about the stuff that I was doing. It's just like anybody who's played guitar for a long time, and studied their craft. I'll never forget. I saw we were in Nashville, and there was a band playing, and there was a lady playing guitar. And she was an older lady. She's well known. I saw her in an article recently. I forgot her name, but she was playing Telecaster, and man, she was going in. And she had, you wouldn't be able to tell me that she didn't know anything about music theory, the way she was mixing major and minor scale, and just the pure confidence of doing what she was doing. And I talked to her afterwards and tried to pick her brain a little bit on it. And I don't think she was pulling the wool over on me when she said she doesn't know anything about theory. She just knows how to do it. But I would say for her that if anybody would ever take the time to show her the theory, she's doing everything that you would learn about in a music theory book. She's just doing it by ear, She just doesn't maybe know the technical name for it, but she knows how to mix. She knows what a Mixolydian scale is. If she doesn't know what it's called, she knows what it sounds like. She knows what what an Aeolian mode is. She knows, how to mix a major and minor scale. She knows parallel and relative minor and major. I mean, even if she doesn't know what they're called. And I was the same way. Once I learned that stuff after the fact, I'm like, oh, that's what it's called. It really wasn't a breakthrough though. It was just kind of like putting a name on something that I was doing that I didn't realize I was doing at the time, you know?
Yeah, if you ask me, I would think Aeolian was like an Egyptian god or some shit. I didn't
Aeolian,
like
that's the pepperoni part around the nipple, right?
Oh, jeez. So where are you guys playing next?
I think we're taking this month off so everybody can have some time, you know, with families and whatnot. But I think we're going up to Michigan in August to do some shows, and then we're going to go back in the studio so we can finish our new album, which we're all real excited about. And so we're trying to get that done so we can get that down on the assembly line and start getting it moved, you know, because
a lot of people waiting on it. I mean, we've got a lot of work to do to get it done, but you know, we want it to be good, and so we're just chipping away at the stone, you know, to get it done. We've got we're lucky enough to get Mike Fraser involved in the project, and you know, Mike Fraser he was the sound engineer behind the Razor's Edge, you know, Thunderstruck. You know, Mike Fraser recorded that song, and he's done Aerosmith and he's done Metallica. I think he did that "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" or something like that. He was right in that time. Like, he was right in that time frame when he was working with Aerosmith. It was like the early 93 or something like that.
Yeah, like the
I want to say, I think it was something right around then. And he's taken a shine in some of the stuff that we'd sent him, the early stuff, and so he's signed on to the project. So we feel like that's going to give us a pretty big boost. You know, it's just a thing in this industry. It's not really about what you can do. It's about who you know. It's nice to meet somebody taking interest in our stuff that has some pedigree. And I mean, as far as sound engineers, you know, he's the guy for hard rock. He's done a lot of big bands. So that's what we're trying to do right now, is get this recording finished, this album finished, so that we can get that thing in the shoot and start promoting it and get it out there and such, you know.
Right. We already have stuff written for the next album. We write like consistently, you know, and that's one of the things that's really hard to find in the band, because it's hard to find people that have the nerve to write their own music. You know, usually they'll lean on like one specific songwriter or whatever. But with us, everybody writes stuff and everybody brings stuff to the table.
I think we're easily inspired, man. As soon as we, like, anybody in the band comes to the band and comes to practice, and they're like, dude, y'all got to check out this song I just found, and it's some old deep cut. And we'll listen to it. And usually, unless it's Lunchbox, the drummer, sometimes he brings us some turds, but sometimes he redeems himself. But usually we bring it into the room and everybody likes it, and it kind of inspires something. It's a little jam session or something, and it doesn't take very much with us, because like he said, we're all writers. We like to write, and the songs we're writing, they're written mainly off feel. You know, it's we only overthink them after the fact, just to try to squeak out wherever the most cliche parts are we can. We got to keep some of them cliche parts intact though, because it's kind of like the nature of rock and roll. It's like, it ain't supposed to be about trigonometry, you know. It's supposed to be, I think we tried to write a rock and roll song about trigonometry, but we none of us could figure it out.
Yeah.
Nobody knows trigonometry, so
yeah.
So where can all you be followed? Like, where's your handles?
Well, we're on all the givens, you know, Facebook, Spotify.
At Prowess Rocks. Pretty much if you type in at Prowess Rocks, you'll find us anywhere. It's $$ Prowess Rocks if you're trying to send some money on Cash App, but everywhere else is at Prowess Rocks. That'll get you on. That'll get us on YouTube and Facebook and Spotify and
absolutely,
and you know, Instagram, TikTok. I think Twitter is Prowess Band. I don't know. We don't use it much anymore.
Yeah,
we're pretty mediocre on our social media presence, just because none of us are really good at it, and you know, we hadn't found anybody that we trust that we had a couple of people that tried to take it over for us and handle that side for us, but you know, it just hadn't went the right way one time or another. We all just pretty much live in the moment, man. You know, it's like somebody will be filming us while we're doing something and say, "Oh man, this is great content." We're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? This is a Tuesday. This is just hanging out." You know.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, none of us
And
are.
last question for the night. Well, it's not really a question, but do you have any messages for your fans?
Um, well, we're still here for one thing. We ain't going nowhere. You know, even though we're not out doing shows, we're still, you know, all together doing stuff. You know, we're just we're trying to get the new album finished so we can get it out to all of y'all without a doubt.
I mean, it's a massive endeavor, but it's it ain't no bullshit, man. I mean, you know, we learned something with blacktop therapy. We were kind of subverted with blacktop therapy because we put it out um, only about a month before everything shut down with COVID, and so all of our touring plans and all the opportunities. I mean, we'd played up until COVID hit. We had been playing some of the biggest shows that we had seen in a while. I mean, we played a sold out show at the Machine Shop right before that. We played a sold out show at the Senate, supporting Buck Cherry. We played a couple of headline shows in new markets and you know, had an audience that we'd never seen before, brand new strangers in the room, and then we put the album out, and it landed on a whole bunch of best albums of 2020 lists, but we weren't able to tour it, we weren't able to promote it, which means we didn't have the money to put behind it to to put out an official video, like a quality bigger budget video for it. So it just kind of was the tree that fell in the woods that not a whole lot of people heard. But we've been looking, our streaming numbers are picking up steadily. Like we can tell that the album is having a residual effect because we're having new people coming to the fold. And we're not even super active right now because we're working on this record. We're spending all of our time rehearsing and driving to the studio, and shows are just not very not super important right at this moment because we've got some stuff planned for later in the year that's going to be good in that regard. And still, the streams, the likes, the followers, the attention is coming in a slow trickle that's like opened up to more than a slow trickle, more than just a few drips. So, and we feel like that is really a result of Blacktop Therapy being a really good sounding, well built, authentic throwback record. It's not for everybody, but it is for those people who appreciate that kind of music. And we learned some things when we built it, and we're going to apply those things to the new record. And we have a lot more resources and help in terms of this record. So, I mean, we feel like if there's a time for us to make a splash and make a dent, it's coming right now off of this new one. It's going to be called Electric Jungle. That's the first track we recorded from it. It's a song that Dalton came up with and a riff Dalton came up with. And Electric Jungle is, I think, I'll let you kind of describe what the Electric Jungle is, because I have my own ideas of it that come to me. But, what is the Electric Jungle to you?
Like when all the pandemic stuff was starting, like he was talking about, that was where I got the inspiration for that mainly. Like going down to Atlanta and doing studio stuff down there and just seeing how everything was with everybody and whatnot. And that was where the inspiration from it came from.
The city, the lights,
yeah,
the sizzle of downtown Atlanta, and it throws a nod to electric guitar as well, man. It's gonna be a rocking album, man, and we're looking forward to putting it together and putting it out for everybody. Got a couple new tricks on it too, some things we hadn't done before musically. I wouldn't necessarily call them risk because they're tried and true formula, but a little bit more pop element in some places. Still tough, still got swagger. We're not gonna pretty it up very much, but we are gonna we ain't afraid to bang on 3 chords and sing a simple chorus if we know people are gonna sing it back to us and mean it, you know.
Yeah.
It'll seem like a logical progression for Blacktop without a doubt. It'll seem like the logical next step, definitely.
A lot more songwriting from, you know, on Blacktop. Me and Curly were really the primary songwriters on a lot of that material. Still that way now, but everybody's got a lot more input. The band has kind of found its footing a little better, and we have some different influences, you know, that was brought in to make it even more, you know, more diverse. A whole damn crop of catchy songs. I mean, if you like catchy songs with simple choruses and tough ass guitar, it's gonna be thick with that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Last question of the evening. What's your favorite love ballad?
Oh, that's hard.
I Need You, Leonard Skinner. That is a love song if a man was gonna write it. I Need You by Leonard Skinner is a killer ballad. Second place for me would be the Scorpions, Still Loving You. That's like a guilty pleasure of mine. It's just such a well-built song, and it's so patient. The chorus don't even come in until the end. Followed by, for me, something country. He Stopped Loving Her Today, George Jones, or yeah, something Tammy Wynette, probably. I don't know. What about you, man?
Oh, definitely I Need You. I'll definitely second that one. But I think mine would probably be Unchained Melody, without a doubt, because you can't top that. Yeah, without a doubt. Or any of the Journey ballads, because all the Journey ballads are killer. Open Arms and Faithfully, and I mean all that stuff. Steve Perry, he wasn't a joke. He was the real dude. He was the voice, without a doubt. Yeah.
And most people, I'm gonna say Warmness of the Soul.
You say Wonders of the Soul?
Warmness of the Soul.
A Warmness of the Soul.
Most people don't know Avenged Sevenfold has one love ballad.
Huh.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar.
I always thought So Far Away was their only one that they had like that.
No, it's actually they actually have a piano piece.
Huh.
Right on, man. Well, it was really good getting to know you, dude. Thank you for having us on the program,
man.
We'll make sure to pass the word along to our folks, man. We've got a pretty decent sized following for a band that hadn't been out there. We're proud of that, man. And they're good friends of ours. Actually, we get to know them. We get to get to know their story a little bit, and that's kind of what they like about us, you know.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for your time.
Well, thank you
man.
For your time.
We had fun during it for you, dude. Thank you.
This will be posted on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook.
Cool. Yeah, just keep us posted on when it drops, man. We'll make sure to pump it to our network and get you some love. And thank you. We really appreciate you having us here, man.
Thank you. It's up right now. We're live, so you can just rip it later.
Cool.
Gotcha.
You guys have a great night.
All right, man.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah.